I am thankful to Jah that my stepfather is Danish. I think about many times and thinking if it was English, if it was Irish, or if it'd been German or something. I mean, we deal because he's white, right? I take that first. He's white, right? Now the fact that he's a white man, that's one thing. Next thing, but you can't just say it's white. I'm trying to show that it's important with ethnicity, you know. So him being Danish, even if him being Swedish or Norwegian, I think about it and I think, damn, I want to come to the balance that I have for this project. The only way I could come to this balance for this project is truly, simply because the man was Danish and the little village that he come from and him as a person, So it's not just that, but him as a person and him being a Danish person and me being who I am, the legacy that I come from in Africa, coming from the royal family and all those things, it's all really put together by Jah. So that combination, he's a white man who took me out onto projects in Africa. He never really preached anything to me, but he took me along to the projects that was working with our people in the field in Africa. And I saw that and I learned from that, from example. You understand? So I got to see what is important for our people to survive because that's the project that he had come to Africa to do way back then. So a lot of the things, the organization that my stepfather worked for, they did not really work out properly because the policies were really put together in the wrong way, the wrong attitude, wrong approach. And he was against that. So he really wrote out against those things. And in the end, it wasn't really a nice ending between him and the organization. You understand? So, but we can check the statistics and we can see that, well, where's the success? Where's Africa worse off now than when they began up? Because when they went out to Africa, they were really believing that within 5 years they'd solve the problems. You understand? Like I say, even with music industry and the structure, you can come with a message and everything, but the structure itself is detrimental to the progress, and that's what we have overstood. So me being my father's son, my father's adopted son, but my father's son still, you know, um, being that and having taken that into my essence and my blood because my mother is African and she's working with women's organizations and all of this put together, right? That has made the balance, like how you say, the earth from the sun at that particular distance, at that particular angle, created life on earth. Jah is great at calculating those things, so Jah don't make no mistake. You understand? So this is the fulfillment of what we're gonna do our work right at the Kaisa Inn, which was the last project that my mother and father did together. Between me and my siblings, we're gonna work out how we're gonna do that. You understand? But I've learned what I've learned. My other father, my real father, I don't know what is real, but my real father is Jah. My biological father, the one who I resemble. He's a good man, and in many ways, just like my other dad. You know, same same demeanor and everything. When I spoke to my dad for the first time in a long time, I was like, wow, surprised at how the process of thinking and the process of giving me advice was the same. So I was like, whoa, Jah don't make no mistake, really, understand? So, but that's from a royal family, Swaziland. So the king of Swaziland, that's my cousin, you understand? And that whole process of making it back to my cousin is like, well, through the king is my cousin, then and he has all the land in Swaziland, land value taxation and all those things, the things that I can advise my cousin about, you understand? My father on the other hand was advisor to Chris Hani, you understand? So Chris Hani, that was the leader of the Communist Party and freedom fighting in South Africa. So he was a strategic advisor to him. And in Swaziland at the moment, it is the Communist Party, which is mostly against the way the king owns land. So it's like on the one hand, I'm right in the middle of that situation. Like, okay, the land issue, the royal issue, and then what do we have to offer here? So coming to Denmark, we have the Justice Party, which for many times was actually at the center of the process of leading Denmark towards this egalitarian society because of the whole idea of taxations, royal family taxation and all those things. So this entire project is basically based on a letter to the Queen of Denmark. And we have a king now, you understand? But the process and everything which is unique to Denmark is what makes this project unique. So we're marketing it as a Danish project, because it's the truth. It's the truth. It is very much a Danish project. I am a Danish project. I am my dad's project. The schools that he chose for me, until it got to the point of where I was like, okay, I'm gonna follow Bob Marley and sing redemption songs, at that point. But all that was a result of what my dad led me to. You could look at the revolution in Ethiopia, for example. All the youths, were basically educated by His Majesty. So the older generation leads the younger generation, and at some point there's a schism. You understand? But it's all for the better good because of the process that Jah gives me for us to go through. So that's who I am in that sense. So this is a Danish project. It is a very African project, but it's a Danish project marketed. So we are going home to Africa. 24 Danish volunteers going home to the place, last project that my parents did, and we'll continue the mission there. And then after that, we're going to take what we learned from there, and we're going to walk from Cape Town to Cairo, 18,000 kilometers, walk and talk with the community and implement everything. Permaculture, women empowerment, understand, and the $10 billion plan and how to keep our people in Africa. And then, of course, the blues is also important as a music because we're talking about recidivism in America. The whole of America is the prison industrial complex. Put people in and out of prison, work like slaves. There's more people working as slaves now than during slavery. You understand? So that's another one for Buju. Is like after you spend some time in the American University of Life for 7 years. It's like, and you study business and everything, we got to get busy with that. How do we stop recidivism? How do we keep our people from going back into prison and all those type of things? That's what we need to be talking about. That's the blues. You understand? It's the rock and roll and all of that, rock and roll. King of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. You understand? His father was in prison with B.B. King's cousin, you understand? So that's all poverty, class poverty, you understand? So when you look at America, really, the racism in America, it really came to the fore when the higher classes realized that now that we've freed the slaves, they and the poor white are going to unite against us. So we got to divide them. So they put in Jim Crow and all those things and started paying the white people slightly more wages than the black people. So the black people, why are you getting more? Oh, this because we're white. But they were dirt poor, all of them. You understand? But they made this differentiation. You understand? And then you have what you call racism right now. You understand? But the reality of people like Elvis, they grew up where it was like black and white had to work together. That's why the music was in him in that way, because black and white was working together, suffering together and coming together. So all the people who are up against Elvis Presley, you better know that everything that's said against Elvis Presley is the fight against your own freedom, because that man there really represents Jah will for how we shall see the light and really go forward. That's why it happened the way it happened, and that's the importance of rock and roll. So we do rock and roll. I do rock and roll for that reason, you understand? So when it comes to music and genres and all those things, I don't really just check. I check deeper than what the market is saying and what people are saying, But this is a Danish project. This is a Danish project. And I love Denmark, and I love Danish people to the max. Really love them. They are fantastic people. Just like my dad. Fantastic. Love them. And we're going to go to Africa and do wonders. See? Love.